Hey everybody, today we are taking a look at Nightfall Blood Country, an expansion for Nightfall, or Nightfall Martial Law. And it's an expansion too, either because this is not a standalone set. You need one of those two to play this. It includes no wounds, it includes no starting minions. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you need to go back and watch my review of Nightfall itself. I'm going to put a link here on the screen because I will not be going into how to play the game at all. I'm just going to be showing you a couple of cards, showing you what the expansion here introduces, and that's pretty much it. And then I'll tell you what I think of it. So go check that out if you need to first. And otherwise, let's get to it. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of cards here from Blood Country and some of the interesting things that this set does. So here we have this gentleman, a vampire. His chain ability says that this minion, when it comes into play, it comes with as much health as the number of cards you have in your hand, up to 4, because, well, he has 4 tick marks up here. So, pretty good for the cost. He's so cheap, and if you have if you happen to have a lot of cards in your hand, then this is a great card to throw out there. We have Rabid Rex over here, werewolf, obviously, lycanthrope, and he says in the chain, target player, when it comes off the chain, target player receives wounds until he receives a bite or burn wound. Ouch. What that tells you right there is that now wound type matters in this set. And so in this case, you see it there. In this case, you see it as a feed effect. This one, Flesh Frenzy, says that in the chain it inflicts 2 damage on target player, and you can discard a bite and keep doing it. So, cool, very thematic, I like it. It's a little harder to get these things to trigger, perhaps, but neat stuff. Here we have Burning Meat. Chain, draw 2 cards, you may discard a burn wound to destroy a target ghoul. So the set worries about card types, so faction, ghouls, and vampires and such, and burn wound. So things are getting more specific, basically, is the idea. Mac 10 here, which as you can see is, you know, a reference to the theme in the set, which of course has a lot of truckers, has a lot of bikers, that sort of thing. Says that he's a hunter, so he's a human faction, and he says that while he's in play, when you buy orders, you place orders you claim on top of your deck. So they don't cycle through, they go right on top of the deck. Really cool stuff, original, something different, and I like it. So those are some of the things you'll be able to spot in this set. The first thing I'll say about Blood Country is that I think the theme is a little bit strange. I'm not sure if it's offensive or if it's just quirky. It's about bikers or truckers or country folk, I'm not sure, but it is what it is. It's fine. Expansions later on sort of did something similar where they went to a place and the expansion was based around that place. Russia, the East, and okay, fine. So that's one thing that's neither here nor there for me. The cards themselves I think are interesting. I think the game largely, this expansion I should say, largely feels like more of the same, which ultimately really is a problem that the game overall sort of fell into. In my opinion, I think the game, the cards eventually all felt very similar and all did very similar things. That's okay if you like what they do, I guess, but be aware that by now, in the line of expansions, I started to feel like, okay, I've kind of seen all these things before. Now, this set did introduce a couple of things. It had, obviously, like, the wound started to matter, the card type, like ghoul or vampire or whatever, started to matter. So that's cool, that's interesting. It was using something that was pre-built in there that we hadn't actually employed. So I like that. But for me, in the line of expansions, this is somewhere in the middle. It's an interesting one. It was a small one, so you could add it in easily. It was not a full one, which would have been crazy because, well, now you have 3 base sets, right? If you've got it all. So interesting, somewhere in the middle. but definitely not one of my favorite expansions, and largely more of the same. That's Nightfall Blood Country.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.